Shooting and tear gas in the inner sanctum of power in Baghdad. For the second time in 3 weeks, angry protesters managed to breach the defences protecting the Green Zone, where government offices and diplomats are located. More than 100 were injured, a few of them fatally, before security forces restored control. Funerals the next day for those who died. Like most of the protesters, they were from Sadr city. That's a huge suburb on the eastern side of the capital. The roughly 3 million who live there are almost all Shia Muslims. Sadr city has been the scene of many huge bomb attacks by the Sunni militants of so-called Islamic State. The latest at this street market, where death notices hang on the stalls, where around 30 vendors and shoppers died.
2 days on, the martyrs, the many who fell here, up to 40 people killed in that big explosion, are obviously not forgotten. But life is getting back to normal. People are moving around again because they have to. But they all know that this could happen again at any moment, because Sadr city has been hit so many times by bombs like this. They're very angry here, and above all, their anger is directed at their own government.
We blame the government. No ministers ever get killed. It's just us poor people here, with no jobs. They don't have explosions over there.
We've seen nothing from the government. Where is the democracy they keep talking about? And corruption. It is there for all to see. What did they do for us? All we get is blood and bodies.
Sadr city is named after a revered Shia clerical family, now headed by this man, Muqtada Sadr. He's the firebrand behind the protests, demanding an end to corruption and the sectarian division of spoils in government. His followers say that's why Sadr city is being bombed.
One of the aims of these explosions is to stop the protest against corruption and the government. There are corrupt people in the government and parliament, some who stand with IS and give it money. The government can't protect the people, but they are able to protect themselves in the Green Zone and to protect the money they've transferred to bank accounts abroad.
The embattled Prime Minister, Haider al-Abadi, threw back the accusation of links to IS. He said some of the protesters were bent on undermining the government's drive against the militants. The protests are set to continue, although the Prime Minister himself is pushing for the same radical reforms demanded by the demonstrators. But he's blocked by Parliament, which, like his government, is paralysed by factional rifts. Almost certainly, markets like this one in Sadr city, which was already bombed recently, will be the target of more deadly suicide attacks. With anger rising all the time and no solution in sight, nobody knows where this crisis will go. Jim Muir, BBC News, Baghdad.